Torah, Megillah Esther, page 192, end of the page, 4 lines at the end of the page. Okay, now the Rebbe is explaining that the horse brings the person to the highest levels, to the lowest levels, and he says, because it can't be the transformation of midas from evil to kedusha unless you tap into a higher source, like let the mother come and clean up the mess of the kids, which is the level of bina, which is higher than midas. So therefore, through revealing bina, then you can transform the midas of evil to kedusha. When you ride on the horse, Yeshua will be a riding of salvation. What does that mean? From this, it says when you ride on your horses, then you bring salvation. What does that mean? Yeshua. It becomes the level of salvation. What does it mean? Salvation. What is the salvation from? The pasuk says, and Al Rebbe elaborates in Tanya, it says that there's the battle between the Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara. And if the Gemara says if Hashem wouldn't help the Yetzer Tov, he wouldn't be able to overcome the powerful animal of the animal soul. Because animals are stronger than people. Bottom line is the animal soul is stronger than the godly soul. See, the pasuk in Tehillim says, "Leishia mishefti nafshei," to save him from the judges of his soul. As Al Rebbe explains in Tanya, the Gemara says that a Beinani, Zev is a Sheftam. Both judge him. It doesn't say they control him. It says they judge him. What is the judge? A judge says his opinion. Now it could be there's another opinion. And then you go by the law of the third one, right? To decide between the two, the majority opinion. So the Al Rebbe says the same thing. The Nefesh Abamis gives its opinion, sin. Nefesh Elokis gives its opinion, don't sin. So Hashem comes and saves him, Shefti Nafshei, the Yeshua, the salvation from the judges of his soul. And therefore, with this, what do you do? What did Haman say? Take the levush and the sus, and you give it al yad ish misari amelech apartamim, from the officers of the king, right? Who is that officer of the king? So he says that's Michal Kanarabba. Michal the Kohen Gadol, Anaf Chesed, the branch of Chesed. Shu Amal b'Shes HaNeshama b'Gan Eden. Says in Kabbalah that the Malach Michal dresses the Neshamas in Gan Eden. Now Malach Michal is a level of Chesed, right? Mayim. Gavriel is Gevura. Michal is Chesed. So it says Michal is Kahana Rabba because Aaron is Ish Chesed. Leviim Gevura, Kohenim Chesed. So Michal is the Kohen Gadol. So who Al Yad Ish Misari Amelach? Who is from the offices of the king? Hashem. It's Michal. The Kar and then you call out Koch Yasel Ish. This is what you do to a person that the king wants to honor. What does that mean spiritually? Until now, the Alter Rebbe defined the whole pasuk spiritually. So he says, "Yuv and Api Maamar Azal, Asidin Tzadikim." Eventually, when Mashiach comes, that it's going to be the Tzadikim. Sheyemru Lifneim Kodesh. They're going to say before the Tzadikim the level of Kodesh. What does this mean? Ki hinei Kodesh hu inyan amshachas Kodesh elyon b'vav. We learned already, there's Kodesh with the Vav. Sometimes Kodesh is spelled Kuf, Vav, Dalet, Shin. Many times you have the word Kodesh is spelled without the Vav. Okay? What's the difference in a deeper sense between Kodesh with the Vav and Kodesh without a Vav? Kodesh means remove. It's a level of separation. That means it refers to a level of Elokus, which is normally not connected to world. It's removed from the world. But sometimes you have the level of Kodesh with the Vav, means that level of Kedusha comes down. What's a Vav? We learned. A Vav is one line from high to low. So Kodesh with the Vav meaning that removed level of Kedusha comes down into the world. Kodesh without a Vav means it doesn't come down, it remains up there. All the revelations, and from lower to higher, Where is the primary revelation of Elokus going to be? Not in Atzilus, not in Keser, not in Akudim, Nukudim, not in Tikkun, not in Lifnei Atzintum. All those revelations of godliness are going to be Dira B'Tachteinim, down here in this little world. Then what's going to now? World gets its existence from Kedusha, from Ruchnius. Ruchnius is going to get its Chayas from Gashmius. Because if the essence of Hashem will be revealed down here, Dira B'Tachteinim, so then what's going to happen? The highest levels of Ruchnius are going to get Chayas from the lowest level, which is Gashmius. Which really not lower, not since it's higher. Now, this revelation of Elokus that we're talking about, when did it begin? Okay? Matan Torah was initial Anech Hashem Elokecha. Then was the beginning of Hamshach in a way of Ma'at HaGoshenu. The pasuk says, it's so funny where everything fits in when you know. The pasuk says when the Eden are going to come to Eretz Yisrael, so the pasuk says, Ma'at HaGoshenu. I'm not going to kill out all the nations at one time. Because if there's no people, all the animals are going to come into the land. But what keeps the animals at bay? The fact that people civilize it, right? Live there. So now the pasuk says, Ma'at Agoshanu mipanach. I'm not going to drive out the goyim at one time. It's little by little, right? Until 7 years it took. So Chassidus explains like this: the 7 nations represent the 7 evil midas. Right? Well, spiritually speaking, the 7 nations of Canaan represent, so sometimes you could eradicate them at one shot. Sometimes though, and by Matan Torah, what happened then? Ma'at HaGoshenu. Evil will not be destroyed at one shot. The concept is Ruach HaTuma Avim Min Ha'aretz, Hashem's going to remove evil from the earth, that's not by Matan Torah. That didn't happen in Matan Torah. It's going to happen when Mashiach comes. Until Mashiach comes by Matan Torah, it's Ma'at Yogoshen. I will be made Haman in the days of Haman. V'kib la'yudin Kabbalah Gemura. Okay? B'basachas. When all the Yidden at one time stood with Mesilas Nefesh the whole year, Yehudim HaKol Hashem Odiyah. Because there's Bracha and Haidayah. There's Baruch Atah Hashem and there's Meidem Anachnu Lach. What is the difference? Bracha is bechinas gilui me'elam ad elam. We say Baruch Hashem Elokei Yisrael min ha'elam v'ad ha'elam. Okay? What does Baruch mean? To bring down. What is Bracha? Like we learned, bringing down godliness from one world, from the hidden world to the revealed world. Al Haidah eina bechinas gilui, but Haidah, submission, bittul, is not the level of Gilui. Bechinas Haidah ba'ein tabaruch atzmei, because bittul is to the essence of Hashem. Meidem anachnu l'loch, it doesn't say Meidem anachnu l'Hashem. We don't say Meidem anachnu, we say Baruch Atah Hashem. But we say Meidem anachnu l'loch, what does l'loch mean? You. Use not, because bittul is to the essence. Giluyim, you have different levels of gilui. You bring down the hamshacha. Gilui, you're bringing down the revelations. So you have from one world to another world, it's all limited stuff. Haidaya is bittul, so to speak, like the expression to the Baal Haratzin, not to the will of Hashem, to the essence. Asher Yafshel Lavaled de Gilui. Because that level of Elokus, that the person is bottled to, cannot be revealed. It's essence. Essence, by definition, cannot be revealed. Because any way it's revealed is a form and a limitation of how it's revealed. Till Mashiach comes, by the way. It cannot be grasped in any thought without b'chinas and bittul mamish, in the level of complete bittul. So what happened in Purim? Purim, the Yidden were called Yehudim. They're not called Yehudim in Chumash. Only in the Megillah, by the way, the Jews called Yehudim. Because Purim is the concept of Bittul. Haidoya. Purim. Like we used to learn, Purim is lottery, which is illogical. That's why you see in Kippurim, that Kippurim, Yom Kippur, is almost as great as Purim. Purim is even, that Arizal says, Purim is even greater than Yom Kippur. How? Through Mesiras Nefesh al Kiddush Hashem. Through Mesiras Nefesh. What happened in Purim? Purim was Mamish Mesiras Nefesh. And he says, if the Jews wanted to convert to Hamonism, because he only made Gzera. By the way, it's a very big Chiddush of the Alter Rebbe in many places in Torah, because normally we say that Haman wanted to kill everybody, it didn't matter who you were. Right? That's why is it Purim there's a mitzvah to have a Suda, Chanukah there's no mitzvah to have a Suda. Right? Why is Purim the Mechiv and the Suda? So it says in Allah, because Chanukah was not exiled on the body of the Jew. If you were a Hellenist, Misyavnim, they were held you in high esteem. It was a spiritual decree. Purim, on the other hand, was a physical decree. Lahashmid, la'arig, la'abed, anoshim, noshim, v'taf, men, women, and children. I mean, there's nothing to do. So, nevertheless, the Alter Rebbe says by Purim, it says in a few places in Torah, the Alter Rebbe says that if he wanted to, if a Jew converted, Haman wouldn't have done anything to him. He said, huh? I don't know. No, it doesn't. No, it says they didn't, because they were stood. It says everybody stood with Mesiras Nefesh an entire year, because from the Gzera until the actual decree was a year, from this to other. What?
You know what happens to that Nefesh now?
A different Well, that's what the Rebbe explains in V'atat Tetzaveh, that it's a different Mesiras Nefesh. Then is a Mesiras Nefesh like in the Friedrich Rebbe's time against the actual Kiyum of mitzvahs. Now it's a different Mesiras Nefesh of freedom, which is a higher level of Mesiras Nefesh, the Rebbe explains. Yeah, but now that's why our Mesiras Nefesh is going to bring Mashiach. Their Mesiras Nefesh brought a level higher than Yom Kippur. Okay. What do you mean the whole year? Siddur explains. The Gemara says that Amdu Mesiras Nefesh Kol Hashana Kula. They stood Mesiras Nefesh all year. What does that mean? There are 4 seasons. In Chassidus it explains, it's also others fun. There's a winter Avaida, there's a summer Avaida, there's a spring Avaida, there's the fall Avaida. Each one has its Avaida. You have Nisan and Tishrei, generally speaking. And then you have the 4 Tekufos. You have Nisan, you have the Avaida of Tammuz, you have the Avaida of Tishrei, the Avaida of Tevis. There are 4 distinct Avaidas. And the different Avaidas, when it says the Jews stood Mesiras Nefesh a whole year, that means it wasn't a Mesiras Nefesh in one aspect, in one detail, in one Avaida. It was a Mesiras Nefesh in every possible Avaida, a whole year, they stood at Mesiras Nefesh.
In 147 countries.
Yes.
All Jews all over.
Yes.
Why Moshe didn't come?
Huh?
Why Moshe didn't come back then?
Why? Because you weren't there.
Because
you weren't there. Because you weren't there. Because they had to be on Aveda of the second Beis Hamikdash, and then they had to be Aveda of Galus. Because there's a process to come to the ultimate level of Mesiras Nefesh. It's a process. Aidei b'chinas Mesiras Nefesh. Zoch b'chinas Kabbalah Gemura. Shenim sheb'chinas Erin Tov Baruch Hu Mamish. They had this so Mamish, the essential revelation of Hashem. But that was Purim, and therefore we explained. The Alter Rebbe explained that Purim will never stop to be. all the other Yom Tov when Mashiach comes, not that they're Chas v'Shalom not going to be, but the Giluyim of all the other Chagim are nothing compared to the Gilui of Mashiach. Purim is so great that even when Mashiach comes, you're going to see the Gilui of Purim and Hanukkah. Why? Because the Mesiras Nefesh, which will bring Mashiach, but a different level of Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh of freedom, of complacency, of luxuries and all that. So that is even a higher level which should bring Mashiach. But that level of Mesiras Nefesh of Purim, that's going to stay. Because that with Gilui was greater than all the other Chagim. I doubt tomorrow will be Chassidus. It'll be a fast day.